Good morning. I'm Dr. Ron Pearson with the Purdue Department of Entomology, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a pet project of mine, trying to figure out how we can collaborate with insect festivals in order to come up with better information and basically develop a common evaluation instrument. You might know me because I run Bug Bowl. It's pretty big. So in 2019, we had 40,000 visitors, which honestly was about 20,000 too much. And in all, we are actually going to be our 31st Bug Bowl was this year. And nobody's ever evaluated it, which is a lot of effort for not really knowing if we're making a difference. And the more I started looking into evaluation, I discovered there is this massive literature out there. So one of the things that one of the first groups I started talking to was something called EvalFest. And they have generated this amazing database, as well as free to use evaluation instruments. And so we have this body of literature, we have a whole bunch of things, tools that are free for us to use. So let's use them. And one of the really interesting things is that because this is all published, it's there for us to use. And so there's also several ongoing projects to evaluate science festivals, the Science Festival Alliance. And what that really made me wonder, I'm reading this literature, I'm like, are we the same? So we have a lot of data about science festivals, like big science festivals, as well as some smaller ones. And are bug festivals the same as a science festival? Does our agricultural connection make a difference? Do people have, because insects are very charged emotionally, do people respond in different ways? We don't know. Let's find out. One of the things that really struck me when looking at the literature is that science festival audiences are weird. And by that, I mean the acronym WEIRD, which is commonly used in sociological evaluation literature. White, educated, industrialized, rich, democratic. And by educated, I mean that overwhelmingly, that people who go to science festivals, most of them are scientists, or at the very least, folks that already have a bachelor's degree, very often in science. They also tend to be wealthy because who has leisure time, who has the ability to transport themselves to new locations, and who is going to feel pretty safe in new environments. And the democratic part is a little complex. It primarily means that they're from countries that are more of a democratic government structure. But honestly, I think there's also, particularly recently, might also refer to party differences quite a bit. This is my one slide that kind of is like, these are all the questions I have. And the thing is, because there are so many of us doing bug festivals, I want to get these answers for Bug Bowl. But what if we had a common evaluation so that all of us were asking some of the same questions so that we would be able to compare across space and time and audiences to be able to answer things like, are we changing anything with all this activity that we're doing? Another big question is the students, since many of us are at universities, are students really having a good time? Did we prepare them enough to interact with the public? Because sometimes that can be challenging. And then, is it working? Or is this exhibit effective? If it's not, why not? And the biggest question is, who comes to these festivals? Are our audiences representative of our community? And this is, again, relates to some of the findings from science festival data, is very often the people who attend science festivals are not representative of the larger community. And I really want to know, is that true for us as well in bug festivals? Who is missing from our audiences? Do visitors that are from non-weird demographics have the same experience? They have a good experience. Do they have the same satisfaction? And then are we seen as good community partners? And can we identify barriers to participation to invite more people to come and participate? So I think all of these things, we could totally find this out, but it's going to take a little work. So this is what I'm working on for my festival, Bug Bowl, for primarily 2022. So as this project was starting, 2020 happened, and then this year, a lot of things are still virtual. So the plan is that we will have a Bug Bowl next year, and I have no freaking idea what it's going to look like, but I do know that I can absolutely evaluate my students that participate and the training that we gave them. Because those are sort of the simplest questions, and those are people who we know will answer it. And that seems like a good start. One of the things that we know from the science festivals is that conversations with scientists are one of the key factors that made people have a good time and made people feel like they're visiting the science festival is really worthwhile. So there we go. Let's start there. Are our students prepared? Are they having good conversations? What are they talking about? This is information that we can gather pretty easily because they're already volunteers. They're already part of the system. Down the road, if we do this, if we truly can band together multiple science festivals in multiple states, at multiple venues like museums and universities and extension and other things, this is all really fundable. And it's going to generate publishable data because, let's face it, we all have to justify our existence. But the other big piece of this is a lot of what you need to do to evaluate a science festival is get people walking around asking questions and evaluating folks. And that costs money. You have to have, unless you have a lot more volunteers than I do. And so some of the ways that we could fund that would be to get together, get some grants. This could be a really great multi-institutional project. So the last thing I'll say is just, again, there's so many resources out there. So in terms of designing what you want to do, this is the Better Evaluation website. It's all there. It's all there. This is something that we can totally do if we can get it together. Where do we go from here? The first thing we did was we made a the first thing I did was I made a website and a map. So if you want to join this project and get yourself on the map, it's pretty easy. You go to the website, you fill out the little form, I put you on the map. Done. And you can put in as many details as you want. This certainly doesn't hurt to have additional external links coming back to your website. And this is a nice way for people to be able to go, oh, what's near me? The second piece of this is I built this insectfestivals.org website because it lets us create a space where we can create and share some of these resources that I'm talking about. And when you look at things like the Science Festival Alliance, they have massive amounts of information. So there's toolkits. They've published so many toolkits for things that you can just pick up and run with. So we could have so you want to do a science festival, so you want to do a bug festival, things that you should consider. And so that's one of the possible things that we could do with this particular. The other issue though, and this is another page, again, showing the incredible depth of materials that are out there for science festivals specifically. What are you willing to share? Because I don't know how much of what goes on at your science festival you want published. Um, there's some stuff definitely we at Buckle will absolutely be sharing, and a lot of what I spent this year doing for Digital Bug Bowl is moving a lot of our resources online. So, for example, all of our craft projects are now online, and they have little videos that tell you how to do them. So, take our bug hat recipe, use it. Um, so things like that, but also what about training resources? So are you willing to have that be something that everybody can see? So there's some logistical things that we have to figure out, and that again is one where having some funding so that it's not just Gwen poodling around in her basement making a website could be very helpful. So if we had something that you had to log in to be able to see the training resources, for example, then I think it would not be a problem at all for my institution to share them. So I would love to hear from you, but the first step is signing up because then you get on the email list, and we don't email a lot because I mean we all run festivals. We got enough to do. So anyway, I would love to talk to you later. Thanks.